All right, good evening, nerds around the world. Welcome to episode 106 of the Nerds Unite as One podcast. I'm Paul English. I'm your host tonight, and as always, we have a terrific show for you, and as well as a great panel that I'm going to introduce to you right now, beginning with our co-admin. He's back again. It is Chris Miller. What's going on?
What's going on, guys? And also, a little clue about tonight's show. He who controls the spice controls the universe.
Intriguing. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting that one.
Mike, I get that. I got that one.
Is also here tonight. What's going on, Mike?
Yeah, I get that reference, but unfortunately, the only spice I control is dill. So, wait. No, correction. I might have some cinnamon. Yeah, there you go. Hey, great to be here as usual.
All right. So, episode, we are going to be going off the beaten path big time, and we are going to be getting into a topic that, to my knowledge, in all the episodes we've done on Nerds United 1, we have not gotten into this one area. And that is literature, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are going to be breaking out our, shall we say, a more suit and tie, sort of a sophisticated scruffy look, and discussing literature today. Yes.
Pardon me while I get my tea.
Yes, indeed. I should have a sport of tea while we enjoy this episode.
Get my tea. Get my pockets. You pass me a
Yes, I should have enough nice crumpet with my skin.
Hey, yes, I don't have that. There's plenty of sugar cubes to go around. I cannot have tea without sugar cubes.
This is like ass. What does it smell like ass? This is
I'm going to be like this for the rest of the show. It goes a snooty British accent, I believe. I think that seems only fair. I don't think I can keep that up the whole episode.
Oh, shit.
No, but it'd be fun to try.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
we'll
start that up in just a moment. But before we do that, we do have some movie news that I forgot to bring up last week.
Mm-hmm.
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
Sorry, text message.
So before we get to, there was, like I said, there was something that came up, and I forgot to bring it up last week. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Tom Hardy is now our new Venom in the new Venom Solo movie. I'm more shocked they're actually still fucking doing this. Like, I don't know why Marvel is still thinking they can develop their own universe around Spider-Man, but as far as, the casting choice.
You said Marvel, Sony.
Yeah, Sony.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why Sony's still trying to develop an entire universe around Spider-Man alone, but that being said, I think Tom Hardy is a good pick. I mean, he wasn't my first pick, but I think he's a very good pick. I think he can pull it off, though I don't know what direction they're going with this character, considering it's like, are they going to be doing Agent Venom? Is that what they're going? I don't know how they can pull it off with his own movie, but we'll figure that out. But I do like the move. So, Chris, let me come to you. Tom Hardy is Venom. What do you think?
I'm a little bit surprised that this project is still going. Frankly, I'm more surprised they haven't still thought about doing a Sinister Six movie. That's just me. Yeah, but yeah, Tom Hardy, there's no doubt the guy is supremely talented. But however, as Venom, not sure he has quite the bill for it. Yeah, like I said, he can probably pull off the role, but I could probably see probably Channing Tatum, or maybe not.
No, actually, that was my pick to play Eddie Brock. But wait a minute, you said Tom Hardy doesn't have the bill. Excuse me, did you see Dark Knight Rises? That guy was.
Yeah, but still, the guy's like 5'9", 10" or something like that. I'm not sure. Eddie Brock is supposed to be hulking, and just brute-like in his strength. I mean, he's just like. I mean, like I said, I don't question Tom Hardy's capabilities, however. And also the project, why does it still exist? It's a little bit lukewarm on it, I suppose. It's just like it already sounds better than what Sony was proposing with building a Spider-Man universe. Apparently, they're going to do multiple projects like Spider-Man 2099, something like that. But
actually, I would watch that.
Well, maybe I guess I don't know, but they got But that's on to the whole Venom news. I'm still not convinced. I don't know. I mean, maybe for the time being, maybe they should focus more on Spider-Man Homecoming rather than just churning out a Spider-Man spinoff or something like that. As much as I don't know. I can see Venom carrying his own spin-off film. Maybe that's more maybe that's more. Maybe I'm fine with the concept rather than the realization, I guess.
Well, speaking of Spider-Man: Homecoming, we're gonna get to Mike, but after that, I have a radical theory regarding particularly one of the characters in this movie who's yet to be announced. But first, we'll come to you, Mike. Tom Hardy is now our Venom. What do you think?
I think it's fantastic casting. I believe they are definitely going the Eddie Brock route. I believe that when they announced Tom Hardy, was saying he's going to be Eddie Brock / Venom.
Yeah, he's probably going to be better than Eric Foreman. So
he's definitely going to be more jacked than
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, yeah. And if you're worried about him, bulking up, I'm fairly certain that's what he's doing right now at this moment. So I have no doubt he will look the part.
Spider-Man's Reckoning.
Yeah. I'm just worried that when Bang is like, I shall eat your brains as I come catch you. What? What? I don't know what this big black guy is talking about. I don't know. I think they learned their lesson from Batman Rises, Dark Knight Rises. Sorry, but I mean, as for the just going ahead with the Venom series, Venom movie, I mean, it looks like they're building an entire Spider-Man universe sans Spider-Man, because they're making the Black and Silver movie with Black Cat and Silver Sable.
I heard rumors about that. I think that's actually happening.
Oh yeah, they announced that, and they're going full. I think they already announced the director for it as well. So I mean, I don't know. When they first announced it, I was like, "What the hell are they doing?" But the fact that they're casting Tom Hardy and they're already going forward with director on Silver and Black and Silver, it's. I'm still not 100% on it, but I'm more intrigued than I initially was because it seems like they have a plan, which is something they didn't really have for their Sinister Six movie. Let's throw all these guys in the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 and then work from there. Not here. They're like, okay, we're gonna have Venom here. We're gonna have Black and Silver here. They're gonna, do whatever. Are they gonna kind of use Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker? Are they gonna use Spider Gwen? Are they gonna use Spider Woman? I don't know. I mean, really, there are options for them. So right now, I'm still not thinking it's a good idea, but color me intrigued.
I'd probably feel better if they weren't saying if Sony wasn't saying they were going to pull out their deal with Marvel after Tom Holland's 6th appearance.
That was,
or no matter when that is.
That was just one person, and you know what? It's if Spider-Man: Homecoming does what we think it's going to do, that contract's going to get re-signed real quick.
All right. So anyway, the theory I want to bring up. And I'm not really sure where. Okay, let me start again. Okay, theory I want to bring up. It revolves around the character that Zendaya, however you pronounce her name, in Spider-Man: Homecoming. There has been a lot of speculation about what she is. I believe the most popular one is that she's the new Mary Jane. Whether you're for or against that, that's not what I'm here to bring up. Even though recently, a couple weeks ago, she did come out and say, "I'm 100% not Mary Jane," which I'm like. As someone who didn't want her to be, that's fine with me. But anyway, getting off track.
Just like Benedict Cumberbatch was 100% not Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, right?
I wasn't. I was holding out hope that he wasn't, but oh well. But anyway, since she still appears to be a mystery character, my theory is this: we already know that. I think it's next year or the year after, we're getting a Miss Marvel movie with Brie Larson playing the role of Carol Danvers. What if Sony and Marvel is trying to bring in the other Miss Marvel into the Spider-Man universe? Now, I'm speaking, of course, about the newest one, Kamala Khan. What if that's who she's playing? Because that character is still relatively new. They could do a lot with her. Now, I would be shocked if that was the case, especially given the environment of what's going on in the world right now. But at the same time, with that being said, I think that might be a bold move, but a good move on their part. Superhero. I don't know if they'd have the balls to do it, but I would not be opposed to it. And the theory I have is, I'm not really sure where that came from. It's just something that came to my head. Maybe because of the success that Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, had on Age of the Shield. That, we can take these unknown characters, let's bring them into the mainstream quick and just do whatever we want with them. But I want to get you guys on who. I'm still more likely to lean that Zendaya is playing Ava the White Tiger. That would be my personal preference because I was such a huge fan of her in Ultimate Spider-Man. But I would not be opposed to find out she was playing Kamala Khan, the younger Miss Marvel. So, I mean, I'll throw it out there. What do you guys think? Is that a possibility?
I highly doubt that. I'm just, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, she's like the Zendaya character like an entirely original creation? Am I correct?
I don't know. They've really given no information about her character.
I think the only thing we've heard is that her name is Michelle. Yes. If that's true or not, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept. I don't think it's true. Because I did read the original the Miss Marvel comics. At least I read them for about a dozen issues or so. Really enjoyed them. But the one big characteristic of Kamala Khan was that she was an unabashed, like, kind of comic book superhero fangirl. She was a huge fan of Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel. That's why she took the name. And so far, granted, the movie universe doesn't have to be beholden to that, but I always felt that was kind of a core concept of the character. And so far in the trailers, they've really given nothing to imply that she has anything like that. So I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it would be interesting. I just think it's unlikely.
Okay. We shall see, I guess. I will say this: if that turns out to be true, my jaw's going to hit the ground. But
anyway, hell yeah,
still a month away. But anyway, so before we get to the main topic and we start spruiting up our spotty British accent, Chris, you mentioned something about it today being a notable anniversary. Why don't you say what that is?
Oh yeah, today marks the 35th anniversary that the film a part of a great franchise, which is known for telling stories of exploring strange new worlds and new civilizations. Was first released over 10 years ago, and that film happens to be Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan.
The greatest Star Trek movie of them all. At least I say so. Not only the greatest Star Trek movie of them all, but I would dare argue one of the greatest movies ever made.
It's all right. It's all right.
I disagree with that, mainly because it mentally traumatized me. But hey, it's a good one. Dude, tell me when you first saw it, those mind worm things didn't freak you the fuck out. Come on.
They did.
I'll admit I was a little grossed out, but traumatized, no.
What the?
Well, yes, but when was the first time you saw that movie?
I think I might have been 12, 13, maybe.
I think I saw it when I was 5 or 6. All right, so.
Well, that'll do it.
On VHS. Drive-in.
Oh yeah, VHS.
Since see, they're young to enter into the cerebral cortex. I said, you lied on the Seti Alpha 5. There was life. Fair chest. This is Seti Alpha 5.
Oh, Ricardo Montalban. What a joyous.
Yeah.
All right, so happy anniversary, Wrath of Khan. A fantastic movie. All right, guys. You all got your obnoxious British accents ready to go? No, that's coming out French.
Oh, yes.
French.
I could probably pull a better Australian accent, but it doesn't quite work.
I'm not dead. I'm just bestie.
And I cannot do my Russian accent on this one. I'll come off as a total asshole the entire way, and I don't want to be sounding that with this book. Maybe an Indian accent, that'll be much more enjoyable. What about you? Do you think that?
Duh. Let me say.
And what we want to do is we want to take these books and wrestle them to the ground and open them up and read them word by word until we have finished it all. And then we just show it to the camera and say, this is a good book.
Be quiet, Croc Hunter.
No, that's the book hunter.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you show us your favorite book?
Well, I don't really have it, but I know what it shows what it is. My favorite book happens to be a science fiction classic from 1965 called Frank Herbert's Dune. It centers around the young man Paul Atreides, who's supposed to be the heir to a throne. He's supposed to be heir to he's supposed to be ascended to the heir of a throne. His family is now set to control a desert planet called Arrakis, where a mind-altering drug called spices the Mike's got it. Is that?
Well, this is a CD version of it. Yeah.
This is where a mind-altering, it's a drug called spice. Whereas the huge commodity of this whole universe, and they've been sent there to replace the people who were the family who were heads of the planet. The Harkonnens, these vicious, rather monstrous family. What they don't know is that there's a trap headed for. They planned an elaborate trap to get rid of the Atreides, their reign falls, and they're sent to go. And Paul and his mother are walking into, escape, escape the massacre on Arrakis, and they find a dress that's they find a desert tribe called the Fremen, and together joining with the Fremen, Paul and the Fremen, try to. It's been long since I read the book, and I can't find my copy. As I was saying, with the help of the Fremen, Paul and his newcomers tried to stage an uprising against the Harkonnen regime.
And the Emperor himself.
Yes, Emperor Shaddam IV. Once you on the surface, there are certain echoes of Lawrence of Arabia and other desert tales. It does remind me of Princess of Mars, which is like the Edgar Rice Burroughs and Edgar Rice Burroughs is the creator of Tarzan. And what I liked about it is more than just a simple adventure story. It's really multi-layered. It's thematically rich, and it's very romantic in terms of the tone and the tone, just the whole style of it, it deals with very interactions, it deals how politics, religion, ecology interacts with one another, and that's one of the great highlights of the book, and it's just like the universe which Frank Herbert created. It's very rich, it's got very great artificial tongues, it's just especially, he wouldn't give J.R.R. Tolkien a run for his money, but he certainly is up there in terms of creating a believable universe. And since from that time on, people, many have tried to emulate what Frank Herbert did, but that this is the one that's gonna. This is the one that you can't just simply like match. I mean, it's a wonderful book. It's a great read, and I highly recommend and to anyone out there, even if you're not a fan of science fiction, read this book, because it truly is a great achievement.
All right. Very nice. Very good. All right. So for my book, if you'd still like me to do my Coney British accent, I was one of my things to have a little spot of tea. Helps me get in the mood. I don't think I can talk like this. I head away.
Yeah, you were kind of going. You were drifting into Irish there for a second there.
I've tried doing Irish accent before, and I always sound like a Scotsman who inhaled helium. Like, welcome to Ireland, Melody. Like, oh, I can't do that. Okay. Anyway,
Uncle Scrooge.
Well, speaking of Scotland, my favorite book is my favorite book actually takes place mostly in Scotland. My favorite book is The Loch by Steve Alton.
Ooh.
It came out in 2005. Brief summary: it follows a young, brilliant marine biologist named Zachary Wallace, who, in the course of filming giant squids for one of his experiments, drowns in the Sargasso Sea. Life, but this experience reawakens traumatizing memories of an earlier drowning experience he had as a child, and as a result of this drowning, he now suffers from night terrors and a severe case of hydrophobia. So he winds up drifting for a few months with no direction until he gets a call from his estranged father, who he had not seen since leaving Scotland as a 9-year-old boy.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out his father has been arrested and accused of murdering a business partner. But he winds up opening a huge can of worms by claiming, oh no, I didn't kill him. The Loch Ness Monster killed him. He positions Zach into a point where he is the only one who can prove his father's innocence. That is, if he is innocent. But to do so, he will have to do the one thing that no one has been able to do in 1,500 years. Prove once and for all, is Nessie real or is she fake? That is a brief summary. Now, what I absolutely love about it, why this is my favorite, is it combines 3 of my favorite themes to absolute perfection: science fiction, history, and cryptozoology. Even though I don't have any plan to pursue a career, I've always been a huge fascination of cryptozoology. I love the legends of these mythic creatures like Bigfoot, the Yeti. Love those things. And obviously, I love history a whole lot. And there's a lot of historical elements in this book, particularly the history of Scotland. And then, of course, science fiction. You know me, I'm a sci-fi nutball as far as it comes to myself. So it's an intense read from start to finish. There's also drama, which done very well in this. There's personal struggles of overcoming your inner problems, your inner demons, and whatnot. Wonderful storytelling. And there are elements of true science in this book. And it's particularly in the course of how the author reveals what Nessie really is in this, at least in the terms of this book. I won't give any of that away, but it is an absolutely wonderful read. So if you love history, if you love science fiction, if you love cryptozoology, or if you just love a good summer read, you need to read The Loch. It is hands down the best book I have ever read, and I absolutely love it. All right, Mike, I know you've been chomping at the bit for this one. He is the most... we have learned something about our friend from Geek Salad, everyone. He is a more avid reader than any of us. He was begging me to show off more than one. I said, okay, but you only can talk about one. The other 1 or 2 you have to do is quick honorable mentions. So, Mike, the floor is yours. Go right ahead.
I didn't realize that Steve Alton had done a new book series, because I'd only read his book Meg and the sequel to that one. Yeah,
love Meg.
But as far as I don't know if I'd really call it my favorite book, but it's up there for me. It's a book I've read multiple times since I first picked it up back in high school. It is a very long book, very long. This is a paperback version. It's 1,100 pages plus, but it is so amazingly well written. It's so good. It is James Clavell's Shogun.
My sister has that book.
Richard Chamberlain started the miniseries back in the...
Yes, it was a miniseries. I've got that one on DVD as well. Like I said, it is a very, very long book, but it is so very good. It's, I mean, if you're a fan of historical based novels, this is absolutely in your wheelhouse. It's actually based on actual events. This follows the main character is a pilot in the like 1598 or late 1500s, named John Blackthorn. He's actually inspired by an actual sailor, English sailor named William Adams. And in this book, John Blackthorn is the English pilot of a Dutch fleet, and they're trying to be the first ones to circumnavigate the globe, going from leaving from Amsterdam, actually Rotterdam, and sailing back there. But this is also in the time when this was during like the 100 Years' War, when Catholics and Protestants were trying to kill each other all around the world. Mm-hmm. And so this Blackthorn's ship is the only one that makes it round through Magellan's Pass. Mm-hmm. And they end up washing ashore in Japan, right around 1598, 1600 time.
So during the rise of the Tokugawa era.
Exactly. In fact, the reason it's called Shogun is because it kind of follows Blackthorn and how he meets and becomes almost an advisor and a friend to the I can't remember. I keep calling him Tokugawa, but I know it's Toranaga. Toranaga. He's basically Tokugawa, but that's who his name. And it's right before Toranaga kind of begins his assault to become shogun. So he's still trying to he's like, I don't want to be a shogun. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not trying to be shogun, even though deep in his mind he's like, yeah, I'm going to be shogun. But it deals like all the politics of Japan at the time, and how like there was like Toranaga and his faction, and then there was like the other guy was like Ishido, and his faction, he was trying to support the current ruler. And but also there was like at the time Japan was kind of I'm not use infested, but there were Spanish missionaries, and they really had sway because they were the only ones who could do trade between China and Japan. And so, and they're all telling everybody, they'll listen. No, you got to kill this Protestant pilot. He's just going to bring terror and danger to your shores. And there's tension between the Protestant and Catholics, well as tension between the different factions of Japan's. And it's just how all of that factors in. I mean, there's a romance here because Blackthorn he starts falling for this Japanese Christian, but a Catholic. So there's that whole thing going on, and it's just there are so many. I mean, this book follows Blackthorn from when he gets to Japan, went up to pretty much right before Toranaga makes his push for to become a shogun. And it's just there are so many different characters that are so richly detailed and described. It's just wonderful on so many levels. It is a long book, but it needs to be that long to tell the story that Clavel is trying to tell. So, such a great book. I highly recommend it.
Very, very, very good. All right, so guys, I'm gonna open the floor. Do any of y'all have any questions about the book each one of us is shown? Like anything you want to clarify? You're thinking about, what? I might read this, but I have a question about it.
Actually, Paul, with the lock.
Yeah.
Is it like almost like a kind of does it have like horror elements into it? Like I know Meg has got a lot of horror elements with the shark stalking everyone.
Sort of. I mean, there are some I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but there are some awfully vivid descriptions of torn up bodies. Like, you get some vivid, gory accounts, like from attacks on human beings that are reportedly traced to Nessie. Like, she's going on a killing spree, and some of the descriptions you get are pretty they are pretty vicious. Let me see if I can
Nessie's back and she's pissed. As far as Dune goes, I've always kind of seen it. Whenever people ask me to describe it to them, I always say it's kind of like a sci-fi version of Lord of the Rings, in that he, like, the way Tolkien creates this universe is very much similar to how Frank Herbert creates it. He's like creates all the different houses. He creates what the spice does, like the guild, the
scopes, the Spacing Guild, the
Spacing Guild, the Bene Gesserits.
Yes, I mean that's human imagination at its best. Oh my God.
The way he creates this religion in this whole universe.
Take that, George Lucas. Let me stop. I would never diss George Lucas like that, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
it was one of his inspirations, like for creating Star Wars.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I love Dune. It's a struggle for me to get through sometimes. Kind of like when I'm trying to read through the Lord of the Rings trilogies.
Yeah, it's a book that really demands your attention.
It can be dense at times, but
it could.
Okay.
If you struggle through, it is a gem. It is a gem.
Yeah, it's where.
Here's sorry, go ahead. Finish.
No. Oh, sorry.
Description of like a murder scene that's happening. There was little left of the victim to identify. Blood was splattered everywhere, on the ground, across the leaves, the barks of trees, the picnic table. It was as if a dozen gallons of scarlet paint had been set in the clearing and detonated. The photographer aimed his camera at the lower branches of a fir tree where the remains of a left arm, severed above the elbow, hung from its perch. More human shrapnel had been tossed into the underbrush. There were fingers and ankle and foot still wrapped in a wool sock, scraps of a navy sweatshirt, divots of human hair, patches of torn away flesh. I turned away, sickened. This is told in a first-person view. It's told from Zach's point of view. There's not much of that to it, but what's there is pretty vivid.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, guys?
Can't really.
No, Mike, I do want to ask, like, I can never remember, like, does, and you'll forgive me if I don't use it wrong, because I'm more thinking of his actual name, which is Tokugawa Ieyasu. So your book, it follows Blackwell as, you said he's like more or less quote-unquote advisor to Tokugawa as he himself hidden while planning his ultimate turn as to become shogun.
Well, I mean, it's really kind of like it kind of follows the start of the what initially becomes like kind of this Japanese Civil War. Yeah, and see, Tornaga initially wants to kind of use Blackthorn's knowledge of like building ships and using cannons and doing like British European style of fighting using firearms, because firearms were still new to Japan at the time.
Absolutely, I don't think they came around to like the 1500s.
Yeah, exactly. So they were still new, and a lot of like the staunch old-fashioned samurai was like, no, we can't use guns. Those are evil things. We have to use swords. We have to see the person's face when we kill them. But Toranaga's like, dude, if I'm gonna win the battle, I'm gonna win the battle. I don't care how I do it.
Well, samurai have this very barbaric notion of honor.
Although that really only didn't develop until around that time. The concept of like honor among the samurai took a few centuries to develop. If you go back like the earliest history of the samurai, they were a lot more barbaric than like they were during the period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so like there are each character has so many levels to it. I mean you even meet some of the Jesuit priests, and you learn like different levels to them as well. And there's like Spanish and Portuguese pilots, and like there's one guy Rodriguez who kind of he's a pilot for the Spanish, and he's Portuguese, and so he's technically the enemy of Blackthorn,
Mhm.
but they get a kind of a friendship going because they're both pilots. They know how to fight the sea, how to run the sea, and there's this great scene kind of early on in the book where they're taking this very high up samurai to see Toranaga, and it's Rodriguez and Blackthorn on the ship during this storm, and you can just see that they are focused. They know how to handle this. And you've got some of the samurai coming out, staring at them as like we have to get these guys on the land because on the sea we are no match for them. That's one of my favorite scenes, to be honest.
I don't know if I'd ever have the ability to go through an 1,100-page book. I mean, this was pretty long. It's only about 400 or so pages.
Well, hell, the Lord of the Rings as a book. I mean, like, you combine all, of course, Walt Tolkien didn't conceive it as a trilogy, but it was split into three. Together, like, combined, they make a total, like, 1,036 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, I'm sure you can find it on audiobook. I would, if you got like a long commute or something, or just want something to listen to while you're studying or something.
I might not be bad.
Actually, no, you might not want to listen to while you're studying because then the potential will be torn. But
pretty much, yeah.
All right. Any other questions, or are we all good?
I'm good on Shogun.
Yeah.
That's going to wrap up our main segment of the show. But before we go, as you know, despite repeated attempts to do this, we were not able to do a full-fledged show on Guardians 2 since not everyone's gotten around to watching it. So, before we wrap up, Mike and I are just going to give our very brief spoiler-free thoughts on Guardians 2. We don't want to spoil anything for Chris since he still hasn't seen it. So, Mike, I want to hear what you thought of Guardians 2.
I thought it was fantastic. Obviously, it's missing some of that little fun quotient that made the first one so good, but you weren't ever gonna get that. It's like trying to compare Age of Ultron to the original Avengers.
No.
You aren't gonna recapture that magic no matter how hard you try. You can't even try. So what they did is they just took the story, continued it, and made it just as fun. But while adding new levels to the characters. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoyed it at first. The more I thought about it, I started thinking, don't judge me until I finish this. I actually thought Guardians 2 was a little disappointing, but disappointing in the way Avengers Age of Ultron was. Still a fantastic movie. It delivered exactly what it said it was going to.
Yeah.
But that's it. It didn't do anything else. I wasn't expecting them to like recapture the magic of the first one because I know they can't do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, just give us something we weren't expecting to see.
Pretty much.
And I felt they didn't do that. So
that's
why, and I hate saying that because
that's why Empire is still the best sequel ever made.
That's why I hate saying, it was a disappointment because I don't think it was, but it's disappointing in the way that Age of Ultron was. Still a great movie, just not as good as the original.
I don't know.
So
there were some really deep emotional moments in that one, dude.
I'm not saying there weren't. Just, it's I don't know. It's hard to, like I said, it just didn't hold my attention the way the first one did.
Hey, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, that one threw me for a loop. And a good laugh, too. All right, guys, so that is going to wrap up our show.
I got a couple of other books I want to kind of...
Mike does have a couple of
2 seconds.
Yeah. All right, well, this one, kind of cheating, is a 4-book series, but they're young adult, so they're really short, so they're quick reads. It's the Song of the Lioness series. I first read this in probably elementary school. It is so good. The first book is called Alana, the First Adventure. Basically follows a young girl who wants to become a page, but she can't in a universe that's only men can be pages. So really fun series, and of course one of the funniest books ever read, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Read it now.
It was Adams. Good old Doug.
All right. that's going to wrap our show. Thank you all very much for being here. Chris, thank you for joining us on this.
It's a pleasure being back. It's especially good talking about this particular topic. Really good being here.
Indeed. Mike, my friend, it was a pleasure having you here as always.
Always great to be here. And I got more books in case we got to do a sequel to this one.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
I got a lot more books.
I don't mind doing a sequel.
A lot more books. I didn't even go into Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, I love Harry Potter.
I can probably pull up one or two more maybe. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap our show. Thank you very much for watching. We will hopefully see you next week. Until then, have a great day.